Welcome back to LearnPianoLive.com. My name is Jamin, and as you can tell from the countdown clock, the lesson is about to get started. In case you're new with this, there's a few things I'd like to show you to help you throughout the lesson. These lessons are always guided and shaped by your questions, and if you're live with us today, there's a couple different ways you can do that. One is in the public live chat, and the other is the Ask Jamin a Question button, where you can ask me a question privately, and I won't share your identity in case you're afraid that your question is stupid. But it's not. If you're in the archives, though, then just open up the survey. At the end of that, there's a place where you can ask your question. I will say I frequently get questions from students in the archives watching a lesson from 6 months ago, and I have no idea what they're talking about. So please try to be as specific as possible. If you're watching this at LearnPianoLive.com, there should be a PDF and an MP3 button right next to this video. The PDF will often have additional video links inside so you can get more in-depth instruction on each of the topics. And if you're the kind of person who likes to print out the PDF so you can make the same notes on your physical version as I'm making during the lesson, now would be the time to do that. The MP3 is just a play-along track so you can practice more after the lesson. In traditional lessons, a teacher is going to actually present some new concept for maybe 5 or 10 minutes every couple weeks. The rest of the time is going to be spent applying and refining those concepts. Well, here I'm spouting off hours of new information every week, so it's totally unreasonable to expect you to actually absorb all of that. Instead, the goal of these live lessons is for you to find some little nugget of something that makes sense, but is a bit of a challenge, and for you to go practice it, because practice is where all the improvement's going to happen. So don't feel bad if you have to leave the live lesson and you find that little thing that you're going to practice. And of course, if I'm going too fast, you can always rewind the live lessons or replay in the archives as much as you want. If these live lessons start feeling random or meandering, it's because they are, on purpose. So if you're the kind of person who wants classical training with a step-by-step method, then you're going to want to check out Kloppel Academy on the website. It's included in your live lesson subscription, so you can do both or either. And the upper levels are seriously hard work, but it's going to take you all the way from ground zero all the way up to being ready to enter any major music college as a piano major in classical or jazz. And finally, today we're talking about a skill that most people believe is magical, and it's just not. Improvisation. You can learn to just sit down and play a song without having something in mind ahead of time. It's not a magical skill any more than when my daughter asks me, "Daddy, tell me a story." Like, I don't have one in mind ahead of time. It's probably going to be a villain in there. There's probably going to be a hero in there. The hero's probably going to look and sound a lot like me, but I'm just making stuff up, and improvisation is just the musical equivalent of telling stories. In the end, you might find out that you're no Mark Twain, but you can have a lot of fun, and honestly, you can become super decent at it, even if you're not the best. The truth is, even Mark Twain wouldn't have known that he was going to become Mark Twain without a whole lot of practice. So don't be discouraged. You can do this. And you'll need to do this. Every musical scenario, from playing Happy Birthday for your nephew to performing Beethoven at Carnegie Hall, is going to be benefited by good improvisational skills. So, let's make up some stuff together. Hello and welcome back to LearnPianoLive.com. My name is Jamin, and this is the incomparable Kendra moderating the chat room.
Guess what? I'm realizing I probably should have said this during the kids' lesson, but for my 4th of July in my neighborhood, we set off fireworks, and for the last couple of years, I have been going to a nearby park with my family.
Okay.
So this is the first at-home 4th of July we've done in a long time, and it was really fun. I haven't done it for a while.
That's awesome. Nice.
I mean, now that it's irrelevant to this song,
right?
I'll share.
Yeah. Well, now we live in the new studio is in a place that fireworks is not allowed because they're fancy like that or whatever junk. So we had to go to our old neighborhood, and not had to we were glad to see our friends there and stuff. But in order to do fireworks, we couldn't do them here, so we had to go back to the old neighborhood, and that was a lot of fun. And then we came back, and there were a whole bunch of fire trucks leaving our house because apparently right across the street from us there was a huge fire and almost burnt our house down. Oh wow. Yeah. So as you exit, you'll see a whole hill that's all burnt up. That's scary. Yeah. So way to go preventing fires there by not letting us have fireworks. But there's fewer fires if you don't allow fire. I don't know. It felt extremely unpatriotic to me. Let's do the drip today. So we have like the full course. It's not up yet, but I've recorded all the content for it. The full course on the drip. So this is like a multi-hour, several month long process of trying to get the drip, the idiom, the jazz idiom, the drip into your vocabulary. But for those of you who have just like gotten the poster and you're wanting to know how this stuff works, this is like the shortened version of the drip. It's a little bit abstract here, so we don't have a specific song that we're working on. This is just a little concept that you could incorporate into your improvisation. So the drip is down here, as you can see if you have the poster already. If you don't, let me know. If you want like a physical poster, we can send one of those to you. But that's kind of a pain. But we can, because I don't have them like to send out whatever. So we gotta like make one and then send it to you. But if you just want the poster here in your subscriber, then let me know and I can send you this thing right here that we're looking at. So this is all of the jazz idioms that we have for all of our courses, and then the drip is right down here. So the way this works is you pretend that you are on a C chord, because these are all based on C chords, and then over here we've got a major 7 chord. That's all of the ones in this column. The 7 chords, the dominant chords in that one, and then the minor 7 chords here. So we're pretending that this is a C major 7, a C 7, and a C minor 7. And so if you were on those chords, here's the lick that you would play, or the idiom. I'm not supposed to say the word lick. Sorry. So if you're on a major 7, I'll write those down here. Major 7, or if you're on a 7, or if you're on a minor 7, these are the notes that you would use as you're improvising to practice this thing. So on a major 7 chord, the drip is much like the dip, except a little bit drippier. So the dip would have been just going through the chord from the 7 to the 5 to the 3 to the 1. Let's back up a little bit for the beginners who are just joining us on this concept and wondering what in the world's going on. So this is C major 7 chord. That's kind of like required knowledge for this lesson. That's a C major 7 chord. 1, the 3, the 5, and the 7 of a C major 7 chord. It's a major chord with a 7 that is a half step below the root. So the root is C, and then we add in the note that's half step below. We'll do a different one in a second, so that'll make more sense. Let's do it right now. So like an F major 7. Let's go try to make an F major 7. So we go to the note F. We would build the major chord on top of that. So this is just an F major chord. If you want the formula for that, it's root, which would be F on an F chord. Hopefully makes sense. Plus 1, 2, 3, 4 half steps, plus 1, 2, 3 half steps. That's the formula for an F major chord. Now we want an F major 7, so we're going to add in the note that is a half step below the root. The root was an F, so that's an F. A half step below that, because there's no black note in between, would be right here. This is now an F major 7 chord, because we've got the 1, the 3, the 5, the 7. We've got a major chord down here and a major 7 up here. It's an F major 7 chord. So now we've played an F major 7, and we've also played a C major 7 chord. If you're already bored, I don't think it's going to get any better for you, because this is just what you would do on a C major 7 or an F major 7 chord. So some of you are like totally interested at this point. You're like, yay, music theory and jazz chords and licks. And some of you guys are like, when would I ever use this? I don't know. Maybe stick with us and find out, or just go find a better lesson. So this is our C major 7 chord. The dip, again, was just going through them in reverse order. So when we flipped it, we went up. And when we dipped it, we went down. So now what we want to do is do that dip. But at the end, we have like a little like drip, just like a little tag that like kind of goes down and then goes down again. So it's like a dip, but then down one and then down one. So it'd go. That's what you would play if the chord that was happening at that moment was a C major 7 chord. So if we had some like we did that one recently, and we had that C major 7 chord. So then if you were soloing over that, you could play like the, and then when we get to the C major 7 chord, you'd play, and that would be our drip. Okay, cool. So then if we have that, then we could also try this like on a F major 7, like we did a second ago. So this is our F major 7 chord, and I don't know if you can still see all those notes. I think you can. So we got an F major 7 chord. Our dip would just be going straight through them, like that. That's our F major 7 chord. And then the drip would be to like go a little bit farther than that and a little bit farther than that. So like a dip plus 2 extra notes. And we had, I believe, an F major 7 in that song was the next one. So it was A. And then the next one is an F major 7. So right on that F major 7 chord, we could throw that in there. So all together.
Hey Jamin, it's time for our feature of the day, which today is the app of the day.
Yes, it is. I want to show everybody the app. It's especially interesting for this particular lesson. Didn't we have like a thing though that plays there? It's like ding, chun, 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 ba 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 ba. You have like a sound effect.
Did it not go?
I don't think it did.
What?
I think you have to click it, right? That's the one. Yeah, that's actually.
Yeah, I was thinking something was missing, but
okay.
I haven't done that in a while.
Okay, so the app of the day that I want to show you is iReal Pro. So if you're wanting to work on jazz tunes, which if you're still with us, you probably do, because if you don't, this is an extremely boring lesson. So iReal Pro, the logo looks like that. Oops.
I'm not sure how well that worked.
Yeah, that didn't work at all. It did when I practiced it ahead of time. Looks like that. So this is what it looks like. You just click on one of the songs, and it's like a play along track for any jazz tune that you could possibly imagine. And they have like, you don't have to just have to use it for jazz. It's primarily made for jazz, I think, like for the jazz community. But of course, people have used it for all kinds of rock songs and stuff. So it's a backing track for any song that you want, and you can like change the tempo of it, change the key of it, all that stuff. So it's really super helpful. Like any student that I have that's working on jazz tunes, I just have them download that one. I think it costs like $10 for the pro version, but it's totally worth it because back in the day,
kind of like Spotify, but not monthly.
Yes, right. Yes, it's like 1 month of Spotify. Because back in the day, like we'd have to buy these like Jamie Aebersold tapes, and they would have like, CDs that came along a little bit later after that. But then they would have like play along tracks for like 5 songs. And you buy the book, and it was like you spent like $30 on the thing, and you only got 5 songs, and this is $10, and you get like every jazz tune ever.
At least you didn't say like VHS or something.
No, I've never seen it. I don't even know what VHS is. Yikes. So we need to
Wait, really?
No, I
was gonna say, wow.
Very much know what VHS. So we'll come back and talk more about how old exactly I am after this short break. So sadly, the lesson preview has come to an end, and it's time to say goodbye to everyone watching the free streams. Of course, paying subscribers at learnpianolive.com can continue watching this lesson and several hundred others like it in the archives. So come on over and check us out. And if you like what you saw, at least like and subscribe, and then tell your friends to head on over to learnpianolive.com to start enjoying this journey with us.